Sitting on the floor today. Apparently I'm talking real southern too. We're sitting on the floor, we're speaking real southern. It's all sorts of unusual stuff happening in this video. I should not have drinking that much coffee. Greetings, viewers. It is I, 𝘨𝘢𝘬𝘕, and today I'm going to be answering questions about the Neverrulers universe. Why? Because I'm obsessed with 7th. So for those of you who don't know, I have a secondary story called The Neverrulers, or the Neverrulers universe. It consists of 3 hypothetical TV shows. The first one I never talk about, the second one and the third one involve the exact same characters, with the first one being, or I guess the second one being the one where they're kids, and the third one being where they're adults and sad. In the second show, it's like this club. They all go by numbers, so first is the first member, second is the second member, 9th is the 9th and final member, because after 9th, first has trust issues, and then 7th, I just draw 7th a lot. But 7th is the main character of the third one, because I loved her so much, she just became the main character. If you want to know, like, the very, very basics of the universe, I have, like, a little, like, less than 10-minute video on the world introduction. I guess not a lot of people know this video exists, because I always get questions like, is there a green kingdom? Do greens exist? And I'm like, yeah. Moving on! Okay, no, but for real, the reason that I never draw any green characters is that the green government is, like, super fascist and, like, controlling, and nobody's allowed to leave. So, like, occasionally you'll see, like, limes or whatever I call them in the yellow land and teals in the blue land, but the orange islands is so far removed. There's gonna be, like, 2 limes in all of the orange islands. You may see, like, 1 lime in the background. Yeah, you're not gonna see a teal because that's, like, on the other side of the world from the orange islands. We're talking boat times, people, okay? You can't take a boat across the world. That's where the White Islands are. That's where the pirates are. They will take your ship. Anyways, I asked for questions about Neverrulers. Definitely not just 7th. And I didn't know that if you set the little question thing to be red, that all the questions would turn red. So, lots of red today. Let's jump into it. Can I have her hand in marriage, please? Unfortunately, 7th is already betrothed. How's everyone's mental state? It's bad, besties. It's bad. Does 2nd have a crush on 3rd or 4th? What if he had a crush on 1st? Huh? Or 5th? Oh wait, I probably did use she, her pronouns for 2nd's crush. Z has a crush on somebody. Voice claim if you haven't done that already. Bestie. iCard, bestie. What's the relationship between 1st and 5th? Complicated. It depends on what you mean. Like, it just is complicated. In both series, in Neverrulers, they're like friends. 5th is very much like the 5th wheel of the group in Neverrulers, because, you know, obviously 3rd and 4th are besties, and 1st and 2nd are besties, and then 5th, because, like, there are other members, but it's mostly these main 5 that hang out all the time. And so, like, 5th is kind of the one that, like, tends to get left out a little bit, and 1st doesn't really notice. So, like, 1st and 5th don't normally directly interact with each other, and when it is, it's mostly 1st making fun of 5th, and 1st is just straight up bullying 5th sometimes. Like 1st, like, loves 5th, but also 5th is really fun to bully, not to excuse 1st's actions. And then in Rebelrulers, which is the 3rd series, 1st is like, I'm gonna lead a rebellion against myself, we got magical powers, nobody can stop us, and then 5th just shows up with like, hey dude, I also got magical powers. What is this show? What is this show? It's a fun show. I wish I could tell you guys more about it, but I want some mystery. Okay, here's a longer one. Since the people are different colors, how did pigment work? This person went on to ask more details about the question, but I'll just say, this is kind of how I think of it. I don't have a degree or understand biology all that well, but to my understanding, melatonin is brown in our universe. So if you have a lot of melatonin, then your skin is just completely brown. If you don't have a lot of melatonin, then your skin is like more pale and like light, and you may have like little dots of melatonin on your skin. So that's how I think of it in their world, but in their world, melatonin is a bunch of different colors. And like, they don't really think like in our world, race is divided by like how much melatonin you have and then like also other features. They don't have that at all. Like you will see like reds with hooded eyes or like afro textured hair. So like all the different like racial features. So it's not like, oh, the blues have hooded eyes and straight hairs like Asians and the oranges have African American features. It's just like all the different characteristics get mixed up, and race is decided by what color of melatonin your skin is. So the reds have red melatonin skin, and some of them have like a really dark shade of red, and some of them have like a really light shade of red, and it's just like how much melatonin. And some people will have like little spots of melatonin. So like diseases like what's the thing where like you have like different patches? I'll show it on screen. Like this sort of thing exists, but then like it would just be like with red or like orange or green or something, you know? And albino people also exist. It's just that they have very little pigment in their skin. And so their skin is very like an ashy color. And actually, so like since their blood is the opposite color of their skin, if there was like a red who is albino, they would look like a light-skinned green. So yeah, I tend to draw most of the characters with kind of a mid-range of skin tones. Like obviously some of the characters have darker skin tones and some of them have lighter skin tones. But yeah, that's just how pigmentation. But like in their world, they do, for like the outfits that they wear, like they dye it with like the same red dyes that like are from like flowers or materials like we do. Like it's not like they're taking pigment from people's skin. Like they still have like flora and fauna that can be used to dye things. Can you tell us some color stereotypes? Yeah, sure. Okay, so obviously the purples give away their hearts too easily. they're just giving their heart away to everyone. That's what they say in Neverrulers. They say something different in Rebel Rulers. I mean, it very much follows like stereotypical things about colors in our universe. So like the yellows are seen as happy, the reds are seen as angry, the blues are actually seen as more like passive, like doormat, like very much like you can push them around, like go with the flow, kind of like water sort of thing. Nobody really knows about the greens because they're all uptight and won't talk to anybody because their government is the worst. But yeah. Okay, there's a lot of questions about the sexualities of these characters. So in their universe, sexuality and gender look completely different than how our universe is, so I hesitate to put labels on these characters. I'd rather just show these characters being gay and being in gay relationships or like being trans than rather be like, this character is this gender and this character is this sexuality, which I have done with the Overseers. Like the Overseers specifically is my universe where I can be like, this character is agender, this character is pansexual, so I can like bring representation in that way. Because I did make a mistake with the Overseers where a lot of times I would give a character a label and then later on kind of regret that label. I did this all the time because when I first got into giving my characters LGBTQ labels, it was very stereotypical. So like Puzzles is the mean lesbian, like that is the stereotype. She's the uptight mean lesbian. Lucid is the uwu small bean asexual, and like I do kind of get bothered sometimes that like I saw this like uwu small bean character and was like, he's asexual, and like but now like I see a lot of ace people who can connect with Lucid, so I don't want to take away that label, besides I feel like it fits him. But yeah, so to avoid that with the Neverrulers, I am just going to leave it more open to interpretation. I hope y'all vibe with that. You could be like, you can read Ninth in any way that you want, because you see him giving his heart to both men and women. So you could be like, he's a gay man who sleeps with women to get power, or you could say he's a straight man that sleeps with men to get power, or you can say he's a bisexual icon. Like, I don't know what Ninth's sexuality is. It's very much going to be left up for interpretation. Does Fifth's sister have a name yet? Also, is Fifth and their sister related by blood or not? Both Fifth and his sister have names now. I'm choosing to call Fifth's sister D because depending on if I decide to do a certain thing in the story or not, her name could be a low-key spoiler. They are still blood siblings, but now they are half siblings. I realized for Rebel Rulers, D, basically it would be a lot better for D to be a purple. So I made D half red, half purple, but then Fifth is half red, half orange. That's why they look so different, but they are still blood related. Is Seventh's relationship with First, I assume, a good/happy/healthy one? No! No, it's not. What are the members' real names? Not all the members have real names. Let's see if I remember them. So first is Cole, 7th is Gail, 3rd is, I don't think I've named her yet. The problem is with the naming is I want them to be like object names that also sound like real names, like Ember or Coal. Those also like sound like real names, but then they're also like an ember or a coal, you know? And then also vaguely relating to their element. So Marigold is 4th, 5th has a name, but again, that's spoilers. But yeah, I'm still working on everybody's names because it's kind of hard to come up with names in this universe. Who's your favorite character not including 7th / why did you get obsessed with 7th? Oh boy. My favorite character besides 7th is probably 9th or 1st or 5th or 2nd or 3rd or 4th or 8th. I like all of them actually. No, Eden. No, my favorite character besides 7th is Eden actually from this entire universe. Eden is from the first show. I never talk about him. He's an incel. Why did I get obsessed with 7th? I've thought so much about this. Like, what is it about 7th and Philip specifically that just, like, scratches that itch in my brain and makes me want to think about them all the time? And I think it is just genuinely, they are just sad characters. Like, 7th is just, like, such a sad character. But, like, she's not, like, the type that, like, oh, I'm so sad, I'm, like, crying every day, I'm so depressed. Like, she's got, like, this hopeless, inescapable, all-encompassing, it encompasses everything sorrow, right? It's just like sadness to the point that like it's not even like bawling, crying. It's just like lying in your bed at 3 a.m. looking up at the ceiling and being like, why do I feel like this? Because that's the thing. Like 7th like has everything. Like her freaking fiance is the king, and she's like, I'm supposed to be happy, and I'm just not. And it, like from an outside perspective, it's so obvious, but it's like I need to calm down. But it's like from an outside perspective, like she's so trapped in this awful situation, but like societally, like it looks like she has everything, and she just smiles, and it's just like, oh, she's just so tragic and complicated. It's not like my other characters aren't sad. Like 𝘕𝘦𝘊 gets very sad, and like Lucid and Paradox and like Jamie even, but like it's just that like it's such like, I don't know, she's just sad, and like when I feel sad I just want to draw a pretty girl that's sad. I think that is that a good answer? Don't question it. Would you ever do a dedicated Meet My OCs for each main character and side character? I've thought about it. I wanted my channel to be more about the overseers because I thought that would make things easier. I was like, I'm only gonna focus on like these 20 characters from the overseers, and then apparently that was still too many characters. And I just really enjoy the Never Rulers. I love them just as much as I love the overseers. So I wasn't going to make a lot of videos about the Never Rulers, but y'all seem to enjoy them, so if y'all be interested in more Meet My OCs for the Never Rulers, then I'd be totally down for that. Why are they based on colors? Is there some reason it's colors, or is it arbitrary? It came from a dream. Goodness gracious, if I explain why their colors, we're gonna be here all day, but basically, dream. It's because of Dream. How populated is each island? How many people are there in the world? I actually never addressed this, but the world is significantly smaller than our world. I would say that like their entire world could probably fit inside North America. There's only about, I don't know, maybe 1 billion, probably less than that, people in existence. So it's a very small world. It's also a flat world. Flat earthers are correct in the Never Rulers universe. There's a lot of funky shenanigans with the world itself, but yeah, it's not super big. Is there a magic system in place? Because you said that 7th or 1st had powers. Yeah, originally 1st had powers, and then I got obsessed with 7th, and I decided to make her have powers because that was more interesting. There is magic in this universe, but it's not, their universe isn't as magical as like the Overseers. So like the Overseers, everybody has magic. In their universe, it's very much like a fantastical universe. It's like strangely like kind of an urban medieval fantasy sort of thing where like most people don't believe in magic and think that magic just comes from like mythologies. They do have like religion, like okay, for instance, like the wish taker and the wish granter. Obviously we would look at that and be like, that's magical, but nobody's gonna try to convince you that like people who believe in Jesus also believe in magic. So it's kind of like that, where it's like, yes, magic exists, but most people don't really believe in it, even though they believe in like gods and demons and such. Is 3rd in Rebel Rulers? Of course she is! They're all in Rebel Rulers. What can you tell us about the magic eye powers without spoiling anything? I like glowing magic eye powers, so it is in all of my stories. Any information on Six, please? They're my favorite character. She's a small bean, honestly. What about Six? Six has a rock collection. Rocks is definitely like her special interest. Like I imagine like, oh my gosh, like I can imagine this scene in my head where like Six is showing first her rock collection, right? And she like gives first one of the rocks and is like talking about like how it's like an 𝘞𝘩𝘢𝘕 and first is just like, oh cool, this would be a perfect skipping rock, and just like throws it because they're like at a lake or whatever, and Six is just like, you threw my rock into the lake, and first is like, yeah, Six skips, and then Six is just crying, and first is like, what did I do? And second is like, first. And that's why first and Six don't get along at first, because first is like, it's just a stupid rock. And I don't know if that would actually be a scene. I just think that that's so cute in my head. Does anyone know first is a royal? Most of the plot of Never Rulers is just first and second trying to convince everybody else that they're totally not royals. They do find out at the end. There is one character that finds out in the middle of the show. There's a couple that find out they're a prince and princess. There's one character that finds out and they're like, oh my gosh, this character just found out. And the character's like, oh no, dude, I totally knew. It was like super obvious in retrospect. Like, I know you guys are royalty, and it's kind of funny. Least favorite character from Never Rulers. Least favorite character from, I don't know, they all slap. I always forget 8th exists, but 8th is so fascinating to me. I just always forget he exists. Is there anything from our world that they wish they had in theirs? Technology, better indoor plumbing, air conditioning, marriage laws, female equality. Yeah, it's a very bad world. Okay, that's some of the questions I'm gonna answer now because my computer is dying. I have no idea how long this video will be. I'll probably make an updated version of the world introduction because, like, you know, I need to update the stuff about non-binary, quote-unquote non-binary people, which is called 𝘕𝘦𝘷𝘦𝘳 in their universe. And they use 𝑧 pronouns and stuff like that, just like a bunch of stuff. And like, also, if y'all want me in my OCs, just let me know. Okay, so I hope this was enjoyable, and I will see all of you in the next video. Bye!